ටිකක් කරලා ඊට පස්සේ ප්‍රශ්න තියෙනවා අහන්න කියන්න. ඒකට එහෙම කරමු. ඉන්න කීප දෙනෙක්. හරි. There's a fair sound, no? Fair sound here, no? Shall we be silent? Okay, yeah. So we are going to do a little mindful sitting now. And let's see whether we can sit quietly and enjoy the silence. So may you sit in a comfortable position. See whether you can arrange your posture. If you are able, you can sit cross-legged. Otherwise, you can sit whatever the way which is convenient to you. Okay, hope now everybody sit quietly, comfortably. Keep your head straight. Neck also straight. Shoulders relaxed. Arms resting. See whether in your arms, if there is any tightness, that can't be. It has to be a very relaxed resting of the arms. And legs bent, and you can recognize now you are sitting. It's a very simple, ordinary posture. And now you can gently close your eyes. So while we are sitting, let's listen to various sounds coming from outside. So we are doing a little bit of mindful listening. So what can we hear now? So time to time you can hear my voice. Time to time some sounds of the vehicles. And sometimes some voice coming outside. So we are merely listening. We have nothing to do, we are simply listening. Mindfully listening. So don't fall asleep. So if you fall asleep, then you are out. So keep yourself awake and listen mindfully. So various sounds are coming. But there is no any attachment or any repulsion to anything. So sounds are merely coming and going. And we are simply listening. We can simply listen. Nothing to worry. Various sounds just happening. And we are having an open mind. Mind is not particularly concentrated at any place. We are just open, receptive. Others may be making sound, but we are not worried. We can simply listen with an open mind, quietly, joyfully, silently. We are listening. Our eyes are gently closed. Head straight, neck straight, shoulders relaxed, arms resting, upper half of the body straight, buttocks touching the cushion. You can recognize this sitting posture. Very simple, ordinary sitting posture. Various sounds still happen, but we are not bothered. We still can hear. Now we are bringing our attention to the body. So relax yourself. So you be prepared not to get sleep, fall asleep. So keep yourself awake. Relax yourself. And let's see whether we can recognize some subtle sensations may be happening, available within the body. See whether you can recognize a subtle sensation at your eyelids. Our eyes are closed. There may be a subtle sensation at our eyelids. Lips are gently touching. A very soft, gentle sensation there. Jaws are not tightly coupled. And in your face, there is no any muscle tension, any kind of stress. You are quite relaxed. And have some joy also. Don't be in a very serious mood. Have a slight smile. So we are enjoying the present moment. We are just enjoying the present moment. Nothing much to worry, nothing to be responsible right now. Simply enjoying the present moment. Very relaxed, very simple. Being with ourselves. Head straight, neck straight, shoulders relaxed. And see whether now you can recognize where are the clothes touching the body. Find out from the body. Ask from the body where these clothes are touching it. Are you able to recognize maybe at the shoulders or at your neck or at your tummy? Wherever it is. Ask from your body, where is it touching? Here and there, maybe little tightness, maybe some gentle touching sensation. If you feel that you are falling asleep, please keep your eyes open. Calm down yourself. So let's keep our attention at the tummy. See whether you can recognize the movement there. As you breathing in, the tummy comes forward. As you breathe out, it's returning, falling. If you want, you can keep your hand there and recognize it. Or if you already able to maintain your attention there, that's also fine. So let's note it. So when you recognize rising, you can mentally note it as rising. When you recognize falling, you can mentally note it as falling. Very simple. Keep your attention at the tummy and recognize each rising, each falling. Now let's move down a little. See whether you can recognize how your buttocks touch in the cushion. Whether you can recognize some pressure there, some tightness there, maybe some weight concentrated. See whether you can recognize that. And recognize how the legs are bent. There is no any tension in your leg muscles. They too are relaxed. You might feel little boring, bit of sleepiness. That is fine. So let's move up now. Legs are bent. You can recognize how the buttocks touch in the cushion. Upper half of the body is straight. And as we're breathing in, the tummy comes forward. As we breathe out, it's returning, falling. And we can recognize how clothes touching here and there. Arms resting, shoulders relaxed, neck straight, head straight. So let's keep our attention at the nostril. See whether you can recognize the in-breath, whether you can recognize the out-breath. Recognize each in-breath joyfully. Recognize each out-breath joyfully. Very calm, very relaxed. Okay, we'll stop here. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, some of you seems quite familiar with the practice, but some of you are still new, difficult to sit, feeling restless, bit of agitation. But some of you are quite good and recognize how to maintain the posture, keeping your attention at the tummy, movement, various sensations, and even keeping attention on the breathing. Good. So I heard some of you like to have kind of a question and answer session. And if you have any questions related to the Dhamma, maybe related to the meditation, mindfulness, so feel free to raise your hand and we can have a good interactive session. Don't know whether you participated last year, so we had a similar session. Some of you might have participated long time ago, once a year. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. Yeah.
Very nice meditation. During the meditation, you're talking about experiencing with joy and being in the moment with joy.
Right.
How would you describe that and compare with being in the moment, being restless or anxious or bored or something like that?
Right.
What is the difference and comparison?
Right, good. Now basically now we all know that how we feel when mind is kind of sorrowful, that we feel unhappy, we feel little sorrowful, we are kind of negative, and some of you even cry, sighing, and all these things are there. So we can recognize that the negativity that we feel during the sorrowful kind of a situation, worrying kind of a situation. So that is one thing. And you feel kind of weighted, kind of more disturbed like that at that moment. But during the joyful moment, you are happy, you are awake, and maybe a little bit of happiness. So kind of a difference is there in terms of the feeling even. Now Buddha say particularly three categories or three types of feelings: pleasurable feelings, painful feelings, equanimous feelings. And when it comes to the mind, Buddha say the somanassa, kind of a happy feeling, and again the domanassa, little bit of despair, little bit of unhappiness. So the worrying, this sorrow and all that comes as the unhappiness, the domanassa. The other side, the joy, happiness, all that comes as the somanassa. So we need to distinguish these two. That is not a big thing. I mean, that's everybody can understand. When I am happy, okay, I feel happy. I feel a little bit of uplifted. But when I am unhappy, I feel like negative. I am not feeling happy. So these two are two different things, maybe different feelings that we can recognize. Now in the meditation, the joy is very important factor. So if we are in a more sorrowful, more worried mood, then that's not much productive for the meditation. But during the meditation session, we have to be quite happy in the sense not that we are laughing or something. A little bit of joy, a kind of a happiness, a little mental happiness, maybe more productive for meditation. Probably you have heard about certain Pali terms like piti, sukha, and so piti means rapture, kind of that. Even the happiness can be felt bodily. Certain bodily sensations also can happen. So there are various levels also explained with respect to piti. Sometimes there's a singular term called passanak piti. There are 5 categories or 5 types of rapture. In one level that you might feel like elated, time to time you feel the goosebumps, and time to time maybe kind of electric shock, something like that. But it's not a hard thing, not a very soft, gentle thing. So such bodily sensations also can be present when you are happy, when you are in a joyful state, particularly in a blissful state. But on the other hand, in the sukha, It's a kind of a very general comfort, general bodily comfort, that the mind is calm, relaxed, and the body also very relaxed, calm, but still joyful. So, at different levels, Buddha explains this happiness or joyfulness or the rapture at many different levels. So even say, for example, at the don't know that this too much. Have you heard about Bojjhanga? 7 enlightenment factors. So these are some high stuff. Even there, Buddha explained about the piti sambojjhanga, and the happiness as a kind of a passaddhi, kind of a tranquility type of thing. So many different levels are explained in the Dhamma. Even in the jhana, Buddha talks about the piti. So that's why even from the beginning, if we have a very nice, very little bit of joy included to our practice, then it will be a more pleasant practice. It is not that we are trying to strictly, more seriously, we are trying to maintain the mind. Rather kind of open, very relaxed, joyfully, we are trying to be aware of what is happening. Yeah. So therefore, from the beginning, I typically prefer when the yogis, whatever the children or whoever, so they have that, maybe at the beginning it appear like artificial when you are having a slight smile, but as you continue, that smile can become more natural. Have you heard about Nivarana, hindrances? No? Hindrances? 5 hindrances? Anybody who have heard 5 hindrances? You have heard. Can you name them? Pancha Nivarana. Yeah, 5 Nivarana, 5 hindrances are there. The first one is Kamachanda. No, Kamachanda, sensual desire. Then we call the Vyapada, kind of hate, kind of anger. Then ථීනමිද්ධ, sloth and torpor. And then the restlessness and worry, what we call the uddhacca kukkucca. And the last one is the vicikicca, the doubt. So when mind is crowded with these, you are unhappy. But on the other hand, when these are abandoned, then you are in a different kind of a happiness. It is not that you being happy by looking at a movie or looking at any other cricket match or something like that. So while the typical senses are resting, still you are happy. A different kind of a happiness. So that's why we have to learn how to be happy even without agitating the senses. Yeah. Right. 5 senses. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Ah.
Kids really well understand differences between and body mindfulness and mindfulness.
Mm-hmm.
I was pleasantly surprised how well they
Understood.
understood.
Good. Good.
I tried to explain it to them in the simplest possible way.
Mm-hmm.
So we learned about the 5 senses and the 𝓲𝓲𝓼𝓬𝓻 prayer.
Very deep.
Animals.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside
Senses.
how body mindfulness is actually grounding us,
Correct.
and how powerful it is.
Mm-hmm.
And they also understand after doing
Some meditation, walking meditation. Mm-hmm.
how helpful.
Right.
And this is like when you're doing sitting meditation, that is a really different way of looking at it. When you said watch it joyfully,
Mhm.
then maybe we felt a difference. Like instead of stressing about what's going around you,
Correct.
because they know that your hearing senses, you can absorb a lot of things in the background, but when you say listen to it peacefully and just let it be.
Exactly.
And then you said joyfully, yeah, it's just there.
Mm. So why we bother? Why we interfere? Correct. So that's why that's why typically we have the tendency to, fault finding or, critical thinking or all that. So we are too critical sometimes. But what we want to know is now sounds are happening. So why can't we maintain our attitude, or why can't we maintain our kind of serene state without being bothered too much? So because that's in a way one advantage, one what we call a benefit of walking meditation, because you can see, you can hear, but still that is not the place you are paying attention. You are particularly trying to pay attention on the sensation of the foot, but that doesn't mean that the other things are not available. Still you can see, still you can hear, all these things are there. Other external disturbances are possible, but the challenge is how well you are maintaining your attention at the sensations of the foot that help us. So amidst so many other distractions, how well we can maintain our attention where we need. So that, probably, I don't know whether you have heard about a sutta called ℒ𝓮𝓪𝓻𝓮 Sutta. So it's talking about the 5 benefits of walking meditation. So Buddha discussed 5 benefits of the walking meditation. First, starting with very simple ones. Like say, if one is practicing walking meditation, Buddha say there is no big deal for him to walk in a long distance. Just by walking, he can cover any long distance because he is used to walk. Because in the good old days, there were no any the transport facilities. We simply have to walk. So just walking long distance is quite easy for him. That is simply the first benefit. The second one being very much like that any kind of a hard job he can undertake. He has a kind of perseverance. So he can meet any challenge, something like that. 𝓲𝓙𝓾𝓵𝓭 ℎ𝕨𝓾𝓵 ℨ𝑜ති. So he has the capacity to sort of face the challenges, something like that. Then āppābādo, now we are coming to the other kind of health benefits. āppābādo hoti. That means your body become more healthy. And when we are, particularly if you are walking just after the meals, so the digestion happen smoothly. So the food digestion is more comfortable, smooth, because of the walking practice. And the last benefit is mentioned as the concentration. So whatever the concentration, the calmness, or the collectedness of the mind happened after walking is lasting for a long time. So unlike the sitting practice, so once the sitting practice is over, now say we expect some sort of a silence, our body has to sit cross-legged, and little bit of artificial type of posture in a way. But walking, on the other hand, you are free to walk, free to look at, but still the attention has to be at the legs. So the concentration build through such walking practice lasts for a long time, because it's being developed on a challenging environment. It is not that we ask everybody to be quiet and no, everybody, maybe others are also walking around us, but we are also walking, but not, there are, even though certain disturbances are possible, we take care of paying attention to the, say, the sensations at the foot. So that being kind of helping us to maintain a fair amount of concentration even after the walking meditation. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. Right.
They know that what to watch for.
Right.
And then with the body, I've asked them to see how the fox, like in Japan,
Mm. Fox, maybe I can't remember exactly how to map the say eyes, which animal, nose, which animal, I can't remember that. Yeah.
So, would it be possible for you to explain how the body and the kaya are
Mm-hmm.
these days about mindful, be mindful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what Buddha has taught us that we have minds in all the senses.
Mm-hmm.
Asking you. So is it possible to explain what's the difference between, or is there a difference between
Typical mindfulness explained in the actually mindfulness being a kind of a wider subject now, and now if we look at from the Buddhist perspective, now Buddha talks broadly on 3 stages of mindfulness. So first is actually the establishment of mindfulness, second is the development of mindfulness, and third is the Noble Eightfold Path. So this is something sometimes people not paying enough attention. So from the West and from the typical the mindfulness initiatives, what they are talking is the first stage. So establishment of mindfulness. That means that the mind being distracted every time. So therefore try to use some kind of a mechanism to establish mindfulness. Don't allow it to jump to here and there. Establish mindfulness. So while walking, establish mindfulness. While say brushing your teeth, establish mindfulness. While the breathing happens, establish mindfulness. Maybe while driving, establish mindfulness. While you are reading a book, establish mindfulness. Now everywhere you can do in a way. So at the beginning is very much like establishing mindfulness. So remove your typical monkey mind, remove your kind of coming from past to the future, and always be in the present. That's very much the first stage. But Buddha does not stop there. So Buddha takes it to another level, other 2 levels actually, more broader levels. So second is once the mindfulness is established, so you can maintain that for a while. Now the concentration is also fairly building up. Now you do an investigation. So that is the vipassana part actually. Samudaya Dhammanupassī, Vaya Dhammanupassī, those are explained in the Satipatthana Sutta. So there the attention is understanding, developing the wisdom part. So how things are changing, how things are going through some unsatisfactory movements or behavior, and that's actually a little advanced. So, and the third stage is even as advanced. So after the fair amount of practicing mindfulness, you might encounter a very peaceful state of mind, very relaxed state of mind, and non-grasping state of mind. It is not mere calmness, by the way. So fair amount of wisdom is also developed. Mindfulness is also developed. So wisdom is based on some kind of an investigation. But the result is complete giving up, complete untangled, very relaxed, non-grasping state of mind. Now, how can we have that for long period? So that is where you need a kind of a patipada, a kind of a full-fledged practice, sila, samadhi, panya. So, but typically people only talks about the first stage, establishment of mindfulness. Now, even there, the easiest one, as you said, is the establishment of mindfulness on various bodily phenomena, bodily processes. Say, while walking, establishing mindfulness while walking. Say, you keep your attention on the rising and falling of the abdomen. Keep your attention on the breathing. So, again and again, bringing our attention to the body, because body is always operating in the present moment. Body can't go to the past, body can't go to the future, but it is present. So we are using the advantage of that to establish mindfulness. So it is very much like developing body awareness at the beginning. And it's very, now Kayanupassana itself, Buddha explained in 14 ways. Very broad in a way, but we are talking maybe very simple areas, not taking it too far, but fairly comprehensive. In Kayagata Sutta, even more comprehensive, because giving, even taking certain jhanic practice into the Kayanupassana level. Are you talking the Kayagata Sutta? Yeah, it's more deeper even. It has so much of other information, not even included at the Satipatthana Sutta Kayanupassana section, but Kayagata Sutta is more comprehensive in a way, particularly talking about the body-related practice, but at a more lengthy way. Interesting. How are you? How are you feeling now? Tired? Yeah, yes, please. Inner voice. Yeah, I mean, the first thing is, as you said, recognizing the inner voice. You know that sometimes people don't know that something like that is available unless they start watching themselves. They think, okay, that is quite normal. That is, that is how I am. But later you understand, okay, there's a kind of a struggle is inside. Someone is telling one thing, another one is telling another thing. Kind of a inner chatter. Sometimes we call it inner chatter or inner voice. But the beauty is the mindfulness practice help you to look at it, understand it. It's not really necessary. Why can't I quieten it? Isn't it? Why can't I keep it quiet? So actually I can remember one simile. Now say most of you know the cricket match. So when you are watching a cricket match, so there's a commentator, right? Assume that Sri Lanka and Australia teams are the playing ones. Now, if the commentator is an Australian, so how his commentary may be? Maybe little biased towards maybe the Australian team. How about if the commentator is Sri Lankan? Maybe his commentary may be little biased towards the Sri Lankan team. Now, our inner chatter is also like that. So we have our own conditioning, we have our own, say, likes, dislikes, our upbringing, our culture and all this and that. So our inner chatter has all the influential factors coming from all different factors, and then he's talking. So how to quiet it? It's very much like you reduce the volume. So reduce the volume to 0, watch the cricket match. Something like that. So no commentary, very quiet, something like that. So some certain activities are happening, but there is no inner chatter. So very interesting experience. Now say for example, now we just discuss mindful walking. So mindful walking is a very, very good strategy to reduce inner chatter, this inner voice. The thing is, it is not that we forcefully trying to stop it, let the mind talk, but again and again, you are paying attention onto the sensation, body sensation. Again mind get drifted and inner chatter may be going on. Again you pay attention to the sensation. So likewise, what we do is that inner chatter being little time to time disturbed. Inner chatter, rather than we are promoting it, rather than enjoying it, rather than fooled by it, time to time we are breaking it by being mindful each and every step. Assume that there's a story going on in the mind, little bit of anxiety or something like that, kind of a story, obsession going on in the mind, but you are mindfully walking, time to time, each step you are breaking that cycle. What happens, assume that if you break that cycle 20 times, what happens you break that cycle 40 times, 50 times. So the more we develop mindfulness, the more we develop the body awareness, so then slowly, the inner chatter is not fed like. So we have to feed it, giving some information, giving some, our habitual patterns, habitual tendencies, we have to feed it. But now we are not promoting it. By being mindful, we are again and again disturbing it. So slowly it becomes weaker and weaker because we are not feeding it. We are not giving enough food to it. Ultimately, you can walk with the mind silent. You may understand, it's a beautiful practice now. Body is walking, but mind is quiet. It is not very deep vipassana. I mean, it's a simple mindfulness, but still you can keep the mind very quiet. So therefore, even anapanasati, mindful breathing, the rising and falling of the abdomen, even mindful listening. Say sometimes we get distracted because of the listening, but we can even use different sounds because they simply come and go. We can simply open up ourselves and simply listen to it, but mere listening without contributing to them, without adding our own stuff, just say sound happen, it has gone. Another one happen, it has gone. Another one happen, it has gone. So, but again and again you are settling yourself. Many techniques are available to reduce this inner chatter or inner voice. And later you will understand, okay, I should have done that earlier if possible. Why I was driven by this inner chatter? It was like a mess. I was in a kind of a mess. But now only I got the understanding, okay, that's a calm, cool state of mind. Yeah. Yeah, please go ahead. What's the question? Five precepts. Why you need it? Why you need have it? Okay. So now, do you like if someone come and hit you? You don't like, right? Then having kind of a precept to avoid that kind of harmful activities is one reason to have the precepts. Because as you like your life, as you like your own well-being, others also like their well-being, right? You like to live happily, others also like to live happily. So like you, others also have the same feeling. So therefore I need to respect their well-being as well, their happiness as well. I should not disturb them. I should not kill them, therefore. Understood? So therefore the first precept is talking about that kind of an attitude. Like I myself having liking a kind of a safe protection towards my own life, I want to live longer, others also have the same thing. And how about if I steal something from you? If someone is stealing something from you, do you like it? That's also you don't like. So then we are having another precept. Okay, don't steal from the others. The second precept. So likewise, so all these precepts are in a way help to us as well as to the others, so that overall we can live happily in a more peaceful manner. Agreed? Yes? Of course. How many? Myself? Oh, so many. Altogether, in general, say, I can simply say 227. But it further expands, but these are the main ones, 227. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead, please. Yeah. How many precepts do the monks have? Yeah, that's what I said. Now, actually, monks also... Sorry? Now, say like this. Now, when one becomes a monk, then typically we put them on 10 precepts. That is monks' 10 precepts. That is one stage. Then they go for the higher ordination, what we call the upasampada. That adds more precepts. So the more precepts with the high ordination. So you want to become a monk? No? Yeah. Right. Correct. Yeah. Now say like this. Give an example. Now you see the flowers offered to the Buddha, and we might feel happy about it, and we feel that it is very nice, very beautiful, quite attractive. So that is in a way one way of looking at it. But we can look at from another deeper angle. So they are currently, even though they are blossomed, but at another time they become completely discolored and fading, and ultimately they pass away. So that we can't see right now, right? So what we see right now is the very surface value, and we might even attach to it. I might even want to steal it. So that is because we are attracted to that face value, face kind of a way we are looking at it in a more ignorant way. But when we are putting Yoniso Manasikara, we are very much like seeing deeply, looking from a different angle, so more wisely. So Yoniso Manasikara has, we can simply say, 3 different levels. So you can learn from the Buddha's teaching, you can gather some information, read few books, and there are also certain understanding is there, because Buddha, that is Buddha's words, that also generates some kind of an understanding. That is one level. Later you can think about it. So some information you already gathered, and you can reason it out, you can logically thinking, and all that also help you to further understand what you have heard. But next, the last one is the most important one. That is where the Yoniso Manasikara, depending on the experience. You are trying to develop certain mental skills, and using those mental skills, you do a thorough investigation. Looking at the causes, looking at the sources, how a particular thing is happening, what before the current state, what was the previous state? Before the current situation, what are the causes conditioned to came this result? So likewise, we are going a little deeper into the causes, deeper to the sources, then that is more deeper Yoniso Manasikara. So you are very much like going to the birth of a particular phenomena, beginning, the starting, initiation of a particular phenomena, particular situation, recognizing causes and conditions and to generate this. So that is more into Yoniso Manasikara. So there you are not simply driven by the face value. So when we are simply driven by the face value, the outlook, then we are in a way kind of ignorant. We can't see the things penetratively. So Yoniso Manasikara help us to look at things in a penetrative way. Yeah, interesting. Yes? That depends on how much concentration the person has developed. Not everybody, but deeper concentrations are required. That also has to be fairly exercised in a very say efficient way. Then only it is possible. Not by mere little practice. It's not possible. So do you know who you were in the previous life? No? Because sometimes little children, have you heard that they remember who they were in the previous lives, and they remember some past stories, and they remember where they were. Very interesting stories are there. So some even scientific research are carried out based on these what we call the kind of past lives stories. Some interesting books are also there. A little girl may be born in one country or one place, and she's telling, okay, I was there at another country or another place. My parents were like this. Very interesting. And I can remember, as per your question, there is a very extraordinary person. Don't know whether you have heard, called 𝓵𝓃𝓃. Extraordinary person, 𝓵𝓃𝓃. So his thing is, now when someone come to him, he go to a kind of a hypnotism. Have you heard about hypnotism? So he can go to a self-hypnotism. Then he can read the previous lives of this person, whoever has come close to him. 𝓵𝓃𝓃. That's a book is called Many Mansions. Many Mansions by 𝓵𝓃𝓃. So he's a very extraordinary character. Now he's not there. So different patients are coming to him, and then he go through to this self-hypnotism, and then he can read the situation of this patient. Very interesting. So any other questions from your side? Yeah, please. There are some, some very soft music, very soft music. So that also helpful, but not the, very exciting kind of a music, very noisy music, but very soft, calm, gentle music. But you should not fall asleep. So while listening to that also, you can be quite calm, relaxed, something like that. And maybe you can go to a beach and look at the very far away sky. That's also another thing. And you can look at the fish in a tank, how they are swimming here and there. That also makes you calm, relax. So many methods are there. Which one you like? Music? Good, good. Can you sing? No? Probably you can sing if you like music. Why don't you? Can you? Anyone sing a song? Please go ahead. Okay, there's a question. Yeah, please go ahead. I didn't get your question. What do you have to think? Actually, you can actually use thinking also. Now, say for example, have you heard about metta meditation, loving kindness meditation? Have you heard? No? Yes? Right. So there we do a little bit of very, very little thinking, by the way. You are simply using a phrase. May I be well, may I be happy, may I be free from suffering. Very little thinking, very little, kind of noting. But later, even when it's going deeper, you have to stop that, reduce that. So therefore, this mental noting or little phrasing can be used as a technique to calm down yourself, and later you can let go of it and come to a very, as we just discussed, complete quietude. You have a, yes, please. Right.
Can you use that thought process to go into interactions with different people? So, for example, this would be good for the young kids is, if the child parent is talking about, the child has some homework to do. The parent is saying they have to do homework, but child wants to play some games. And they have different perspectives here.
Right.
How can they understand the situation together, so they get on the same page? Use those kind of thought process to get there.
Thought process, rather than thought process, I would say that as a parent, he or she has to understand the situation of the child, and also the requirement, the need of the being involved with the education, all that he or he has to understand, one thing. And from the child point of view, he has to understand the situation. That's because child is an innocent person. He has her own instincts and kind of needs, that playfulness, all that are there. So as the parent, I need to respect that as well. But that doesn't mean that I always allow him to go to the playing and all that. But time to time, I have to pursue him to do the whatever the studies as well. So understanding without losing my temper and understanding all these different aspects, in a way we can say type of yoniso manasikara. But because the thing is, that is sometimes explained as a benefit of mindfulness practice. That the mind, now what happens is we become emotional sometimes. Now as a parent, when you want the child to do some studies, now he doesn't want to obey you, and then you feel kind of unhappy, and you can become emotional, and you want to blame the person and all that. Then you become angry. That is where you lose the temper. But when one is having mindfulness, he can understand what's going on within him as a parent, as a teacher. Say when people are shouting and all that, okay, I get disturbed. Okay, I don't feel that I am being respected. I don't feel that they listen to me. So I can be unhappy, isn't it? So that if unhappiness, some stress or some restlessness building up within my mind, I should be able to aware of that. So what happens is, without being aware of that, I become emotional, I become stressful, and I want to attack, I want to blame, I want to punish. Then the situation becomes further, aggravated. So therefore, I think the parent is the one who has to play a big role here. If one is developing fair amount of mindfulness, if he has certain amount of mindfulness, he can recognize how the mood is changing within him, and without being emotional, without impulsively reacting, probably he can, in a nice manner, properly, in a balanced way, he can instruct the student, instruct the child. So therefore, that also we can say a type of yoniso manasikara. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. You have a question? No? I saw that you are meditating very well. Very good. Are you familiar with meditation? Mindfulness? No? Then how did you follow my instructions? Did your teacher... You did some mindful walking? Sitting also? Not? You don't do sitting? Really? Do they have a, a kind of a song of the Dhamma school? No?
They're kind of falling out of the chair sometimes and not listening. And I I'm not pressuring the child. And so I'm wondering there be a good practice to influence the child. They're really not in a situation. Most of the small time that we have together, because I teach only for 1 hour sessions.
Right.
Yes.
So actually, when Satipasala, Bhante Dhammajiva started, so we had the question that in Sri Lanka we have the period system. Various time slots are allocated to each subject, and there is no proper attention being given when the next subject being started. So when some first subject is over, immediately the teacher comes to the next subject. So he has to quickly switch my attention of the children to the other side, other subject, very difficult. So one thing that we thought of was to have a little, 5 minutes mindfulness practice. Just 5 minutes. This is not a waste of time in a way, because maybe you ask them to rise from their seats and maybe do some clapping or a little bit of joyful activity, so that they kind of, rather than being stressful previously, whatever the mind was absorbed to based on the previous subject, now they release it, or they're a little happy and do a little bit of exercise maybe if possible, or ring the gong and listen to it from the beginning to the end, or ask them to while standing look at their breathing or movement of the tummy, all these kind of thing. So some kind of a attention not to the subject, by the way, drawing their attention not to the subject, but taking some other thing which they may like, and then slowly you can ask them to sit, and then starting your subject maybe something easy, because they now have a fairly empty mind. Then they can absorb. Otherwise they were filled with the previous subject matters. Now you are putting a new subject, that's difficult. Having a fairly awakened or kind of a enthusiastic mind, happy, joyful mind at the beginning, help you to teach them further whatever the subject you are newly telling them, teaching them, something like that. Therefore, like that kind of very, just a 5-minute practice of mindfulness may be quite useful. Yeah. Yeah.
When I'm talking with my adult friends and we're talking about maybe politics or something, yesterday was the election. We're all trying to discuss different ideas, and everyone's ideas are clashing sometimes. And if I want to, I guess, tell an idea to my friends, and they're not the most open to this idea, or sometimes they're giving ideas of their own, and there's not much listening. How can I, maintain my position and not kind of get angry with them or listen to me? I have something to say.
Correct. Correct. So that's why, we have to have the capacity to listen as well. It's not that every time I may be the correct person, I may be the best, I may having the best idea. Others also may have the very different opinions, different ideas that also may be useful, maybe more advanced than my idea. So likewise, having a little bit of open mindset may be quite useful. So sometimes what happens is we want to impress or impose our idea to the others. So then we are in a conflict. But if I am able to listen first, okay, you tell me, okay, I'm listening. Then once the other person has told everything, okay, now I am comparing my idea, and I'm presenting my idea also. Then we can have an open chat. Okay, this is my idea, this is your idea. So how can we compromise it? Something like that. So very kind of an open discussion may be quite useful, rather than trying to impose my idea forcefully onto the others. Yeah. So typically when the conflicts are happening, that is where we go wrong. So as a person, I want to hold my idea strongly. So it is not that my idea is the best idea. Someone else might have given their very good idea, but I don't want to accept it, because then I feel like defeated. Then the selfing has come. The self-view has come. So I am representing a self, not the idea then. But if I am little open, okay, others also can present their ideas. If that is the brilliant idea, so why can't I accept it? Letting go of my idea, that's a brilliant idea as a group for everybody to accept, everybody to agree and progress. It doesn't need to be from myself, it's himself, right? So likewise, respecting others' ideas, giving an opportunity, and that kind of an attitude may be very useful.
People become very attached to defending their self.
Exactly.
I would love an expansion about that. It happens in so many different areas where the person is stuff on their self-view.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. No, that's why, I mean, actually the whole theme of our retreat, we ended up yesterday on this I making and mind making, identification, and then go to the non-identification. So from our childhood, what we are being taught is to be an individual, to develop an identification. So many methods are there to prove that I am a self, I am an individual. So maybe the education, maybe our family, maybe our friends, society, everyone is enforcing that. Then I become a strong, selfish individual. That's the issue. But then I have to work in a more wise manner to untangle that, to decondition my mind, right? From that conditioning happened from all these different sources, showing me that I am an individual. Now I have to break it up. Actually not an easy task. So I can't simply explain it within a second. Rather, you need a complete practice to do that. Kind of a de-learning has to happen, deconditioning has to happen. And in a one sense, I can simply say, so in Vipassana practice, what we are trying to do is trying to divide this whole experience into 5 aggregates in a way, and trying to investigate which aggregate have I taken as myself. Have I taken this body as myself, feelings as myself, perceptions as myself, thinking as myself? Or through the senses when I am experiencing the outside, is that myself? So likewise, we are questioning that, the old habit, old pattern. So likewise, slowly, we are breaking the habit pattern. It's a very comprehensive task actually, not an easy thing.
So after breaking the self into the small pieces and detaching from it, then what is left from a Buddhist perspective? What would be the ideal self?
The ideal self, maybe we can simply say a very nice human being. A nice human being who can look at himself and look at the others, very peaceful. There are no stresses in the mind, quite open. So therefore, a mind which is more peaceful, which can maintain the peace amidst so much of, the outside disturbances. Still, he maybe should be able to maintain a untangled mind, unstressful type of mind. Definition in the sense that the ignorance which were conditioning the mind to be a person has to be let go of. It has penetrated. It has abandoned totally. So that no ignorance is now conditioning the mind. Instead, mind has completely opened. So the samadhi helps to avoid any kind of grasping. The correct samadhi, the Buddha's samadhi, is not a type of a ditti asking us to hold to something, rather opening up, letting go, something like that. You have a question? Yeah.
Does that mean that we become someone without any attachments, like without having
Oh. Mm-hmm.
thoughts are, we react around them, we just watch them come.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Some thoughts you have attachments, but some thoughts it's just there and passes.
Yeah, we can say like this. Now, there may be thoughts, those are useful, that I need to pay attention. Then I am free to pay attention and act accordingly, wisely. But there may be thoughts, those are not useful, and then I can simply ignore them. So that doesn't mean that we are very much like prohibited to think. So thinking is a kind of a skill we as human beings share. So that skill is very much like now properly managed. So whenever it is necessary to think, wise to think, then you are wisely thinking. But whenever you think, okay, I like to be quiet, okay, you can be quiet. Yeah.
Can you explain to the children why it is important to actually attend Dhamma school?
Dhamma school. Mm. No, thing is, typically in these kind of countries, now we are very much like sensual pleasure driven kind of, various sensual pleasures are there. We are being driven by that, and we are being conditioned by that, and we are being trapped in it. But the Dhamma helps us to look at from a different angle. Rather than simply driven by all these senses, these desires, so Dhamma helps us to look at from a different angle. And it prepares the mindset in a way. So it basically matures the mindset, because even though the sensual pleasures and all these things are there may be kind of uncertainties in the life. So that's unavoidable circumstances are there. Then the Dhamma helps us to cope up with it. So if we know, okay, there's a depth, there's a impermanence, this is the nature of the life, this is the conditioned world. So Dhamma is giving us that kind of a deeper understanding. Then whatever the kind of the conflicts or whatever the disturbances, whatever the calamities, all that different things where the life is presenting us, is able to cope up with, able to go through it. So therefore, I mean, having some understanding on Dhamma and practicing it may be quite helpful. But the thing is, when they are little, you can't convince so, kind of more deeper way. You have to use other little techniques to motivate them. But with time, they may understand. At least now they are here for 1 hour, more than 1 hour. That's something too good. More than 1 hour? Sorry? What do you want to say? You are tired now, right? Tired, right? Okay. You are already sleeping. Sweet dreams then. Okay, then we'll wind up, and we have spent fair amount of time. I hope there are no questions. You want to quickly run away? Okay, then we'll wind up the session, and thank you very much for your participation. And I hope that you all may come to Dhamma school to learn some Dhamma and to face the life with some courage. Thank you very much for participation. Yeah. Okay, Sukhi hotu, Nibbana Pachayo hotu. Shall I recite the verse when you are paying respect? Then you can. Abhivadana silis niccang buddha pachayino chattaro dhamma vaddhanti ayuvanno sukham balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha atho nibbana sampatti iminate samijjatu. All right, Hari.